Rain tapped softly against the double-glazed windows of a modest three-bedroom terraced house in Peckham. Inside, the hallway smelled faintly of lavender fabric softener and last night's leftover shepherd's pie. Eleanor stood by the mirror in the downstairs loo, adjusting the tie of her lavender wrap dress, cotton, knee-length, with three-quarter sleeves, the kind favored by young women who wanted to look put together without trying too hard. Her white trainers were scuffed at the toe, a thin gold chain glinted at her collarbone. She checked her phone, 2:17 p.m. "Mum, I'm off," she called, grabbing her tote bag from the banister. Her mother appeared from the kitchen, still in her NHS scrubs, dark blue with white piping, her nurse's ID badge clipped to the pocket. "You're sure you've got time for Nana's tea? It starts at 3. "Course I do," Eleanor said, already stepping into her coat. "But I've got to swing by the library first. Group project deadline tomorrow, everyone's meeting there. I'll pop over straight after, I promise." Her mother studied her for a beat, just long enough to make Eleanor look away. "All right, love. Just, don't keep her waiting. You know how much she's looking forward to seeing you." "I know. I'll be there." The lie came easily. Too easily. In truth, Eleanor had no group meeting. Her module marks were slipping, and she'd already skipped 3 seminars that week. Instead of the library, she met her friends at the Greyhound, a gentrified pub near Camberwell Green, with fairy lights strung across the patio and craft ales on tap. She laughed too loudly, posted a filtered photo of her lavender dress against the brick wall, captioned, "Study break Purple Heart books," and didn't think twice about it. But her mother did. That evening, while scrolling through Instagram during her night shift break, she saw it, Eleanor, smiling with a pint in hand, time-stamped 3:42 p.m. The same hour her mother had been setting out Nana's best china, bone-white cups with forget-me-nots, only to sit alone in her floral armchair, wondering why her granddaughter never came. The betrayal wasn't just in the lie. It was in the casual cruelty of it. Eleanor didn't come home until well past midnight, the scent of hops and rain clinging to her hair. The house was dark except for a single lamp in the living room. Her mother sat on the floral sofa, still in her scrubs, a half-finished cup of tea cooling on the coffee table beside a stack of hospital paperwork. "You're late," she said, voice quiet but firm. "Yeah, sorry. The library ran over," Eleanor mumbled, towing off her trainers. Her mother didn't move. "I saw your photo." Eleanor froze. "The pub," her mother continued, eyes steady. "At 3:42. While Nana sat there with a slice of cake no one ate." Eleanor's stomach dropped. "Mum, it wasn't, don't." Her mother held up a hand. "Don't lie again. Not now." A heavy silence settled between them. Outside, a fox barked in the alley. Inside, the clock ticked past 1. "You've been lying for months," her mother said, standing slowly. "About classes. About job applications. About where you are. I thought you were just busy. But this." She shook her head. "This feels like you don't even care what your words cost." Eleanor crossed her arms. "It's one lie. It's not like I stole anything, or it's not about the thing." Her mother interrupted, voice cracking. "It's about trust. I raised you to know better. And if I keep letting this slide, what kind of person will you become?" Eleanor looked away, eyes stinging. Her mother took a breath, steadying herself. "Go to your room. Don't get comfortable. We're not done. Eleanor's bedroom was a testament to her contradictions. Pastel walls lined with feminist poetry books, fairy lights draped over a corkboard of band posters, a desk cluttered with unread textbooks and half-empty coffee. She sat on the edge of her bed, still in the lavender dress, heart pounding. Minutes later, her mother entered not with anger, but with solemn resolve. In her hand was a smooth, honey-colored wooden hairbrush, its handle worn from years of use. Eleanor hadn't seen it since she was a child. "I never thought I'd need this again," her mother said softly. "But some lessons need to be felt, not just heard." Eleanor's breath hitched. "Mum, this isn't punishment for going out," her mother clarified. "It's for breaking trust. For looking me in the eye and saying you'd be there for your grandmother and not meaning a word of it." She guided Eleanor to bend over the side of the bed, her palms flat on the duvet. The first swat landed with a sharp thwack, not brutal, but firm enough to sting through the thin cotton of her dress. Eleanor gasped. 2 more followed, deliberate and measured. Then it was over. Her mother helped her sit up, cradling her as she sobbed, not from pain, but from shame. "I discipline you," her mother whispered, brushing hair from Eleanor's damp cheek, "because I love you too much to let you think lies don't matter." After her mother left, Eleanor sat in the dark, hugging her knees. The sting on her backside faded quickly, but the weight in her chest grew heavier. She thought of Nana's face, the way her eyes lit up when Eleanor walked in, how she always saved her the corner piece of cake. She thought of her mother working double shifts, still finding time to water the geraniums on the windowsill, still asking how her day was even when Eleanor barely answered. And she thought of all the lies. "Yes, I handed in that essay." She hadn't. "I'm at a study group." She was at a flat party. "I'll call you tomorrow." She forgot. They weren't clever. They weren't harmless. They were walls she'd built between herself and the people who loved her most. The worst part? She'd done it to avoid disappointment, but in doing so, she'd become exactly who she feared: unreliable, dishonest, selfish. Tears streamed silently down her face. For the first time, she didn't want to hide. She wanted to fix it. At dawn, Eleanor crept downstairs. She found her mother's recipe book spine cracked, pages stained with tea, and flipped to Nana's lemon drizzle cake. She measured flour, zested lemons, mixed batter with careful hands. When her mother came down in her dressing gown, Eleanor was pulling the cake from the oven, golden and fragrant. "I want to go see Nana today," she said, voice thick but steady. "Properly. And tell her I'm sorry for lying, for not showing up, for everything." Her mother studied her, the red eyes, the flower on her sleeve, the absence of defensiveness. She nodded slowly. "I'll drive." Nana's bungalow in Herne Hill was unchanged, rose-patterned curtains, a whippet dozing by the radiator, the smell of Earl Grey and beeswax polish. When Eleanor walked in holding the cake, Nana's face softened. "I'm so sorry, Nana," Eleanor said, tears welling. "I lied because I was ashamed of how behind I've fallen at uni. But that's no excuse. You deserved better." Nana pulled her into a hug that smelled of lavender and talcum powder. "Truth hurts less than silence, my love. I'm glad you came back with it." In the weeks that followed, Eleanor changed. She attended every lecture. She told her mother when she was struggling. She even started volunteering at the local community center, something Nana had always encouraged. Back at the Peckham house, the atmosphere shifted. Evenings were spent folding laundry together, Saturday mornings sipping builder's tea at the kitchen table, debating Gogglebox contestants or the latest NHS news. The lavender dress reappeared not as a costume for deception, but as a quiet emblem of a young woman learning to stand in her truth. One evening, as rain drizzled outside and the kettle whistled on the stove, Eleanor looked at her mother and said, "Thank you for not giving up on me." Her mother smiled, stirring honey into her tea. "Never. Even when you forget who you are, I remember for you." And in that moment, trust, fragile, precious, hard-won, began to bloom again.